Hello and welcome into the LFC Transfer Room, an edition of Transfer Central for you this evening. I'm joined by Jay, Kev and Arnov. I'll start with you, Jay. How are you doing?
All good, mate. All good. What about yourself?
Not bad, not bad. It's good to see the Reds actually win a game for once, but we'll talk about
Yeah.
that. Well, you, Kev, how are you doing?
Living the dream at the minute, mate. After a win, looking for back at the end of this week. So, all good.
Oh, good. And Arnov, how about you? How are you doing?
Yeah, as well as can be, really. I got a good win midweek, but still finished in second. So, yeah, it's monotonous, same old, really.
Yeah, so we're going to be speaking about Konrad Laimer, number 77 for Napoli, because I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. Jude Bellingham and also Declan Rice. So if you are in the comments, do leave some comments. We'll bring up on screen like Jen is doing now. Good evening to you, Jen. We'll start with Konrad Laimer from Red Bull Leipzig. Apparently, he is looking at moving to the Premier League. He's ready to listen to Premier League offers in 2023 because of a move broke down to Bayern Munich this summer. 90 Minutes is saying that his representatives are open to any move to England and it could happen as soon as January. He looks very, very good for Leipzig, Jay, but so did Naby Keita. So what do you think of this one?
I hope he doesn't end up like Naby Keita if we do sign him anyway. I really like Laimer, mate. He's what we need this season that we're missing, which is legs in midfield. He's a pressing monster, Laimer. I think he's in the last year of his contract, so we might be able to get a deal for him in January. And everyone knows, mate, we're crying out for midfielders at the minute. So if you can get someone the quality of Laimer for a cheap price in Jan, who's got legs like he has, it's a no-brainer, mate. You should go all in. The fact Bayern Munich wanted him tells you a lot, to be honest. They don't sign rubbish players from Bundesliga, as you know. They only poach the best. So something like that, definitely move on if we can.
Yeah, what about you, Kev? Have you seen much of him? Do you think he'll be a good fit for us?
I've seen a few games in the Champions League he's played, and I totally agree with what Jay's been saying. Very pressing, very good defensive stats, something we've missed a hell of a lot in midfield this season, and it would be great to have someone like him in to give Fabinho a bit of respite, try and get his head back to where it was before the season started. But it would be a great acquisition, and for the price, you're looking less than 25 mil. It's a no-brainer for me. You go all in, as Jay said, and just bring him in and try and get a deal done now before we get to January, and we can just announce them next month. Comes January, laughing, it's done, signed, sealed, delivered. These ours.
Yeah, what about you, Arnov? I mean, I've just had a quick look at him there. He can play centre mid, defensive mid, and wide midfield as well. So he's quite versatile, and he's played similar positions to what Tchouaméni played. Now, I'm not comparing him to Tchouaméni, but obviously he's fitting that profile of the players that Liverpool were looking at, isn't he?
Yeah, nah, definitely. But I think with him, not to put a down on it, if we can get him, because he's in his last year of his contract, it'd be really good. But I think he's so injury prone as well. Like, he's played 4 games this season. He's out till I think January with I don't know what he's done. But he's out for a few months. And even the season before last, he was out for the full season basically. And it's just man, like, he fractured his ankle before. He just seems really injury prone as well. Like, even last season, I think he got like 25 games in the Bundesliga. It's just, I don't know. I think we need a midfielder now, but it's like, going forward, if he's the only person we get, for example, it'd be just a massive problem. And but yeah, we do need someone, and if we can get him on the cheap, then yeah, I'd take he'd be good. But if we spend in 30-40 million on him, I really don't think it'd be worth it if we can get him for free in the summer.
Yeah, just had a look there, his injury record, and it's not for good reason, to be honest. In the 2021 season, he fractured his ankle, missed 43 games. Was out for basically a year. He's got a systematic ligament tear at the minute. That's had him out from September, and he's going to be out until January. So that's another 15 games, and it would be more if it wasn't for the World Cup. And then in between that, we're talking a host of ankle problems, more ligament problems, abductor problems, torn muscles, minor knocks. So Yeah, you're probably going to buy him, aren't they? Injury prone midfielder.
Yeah, it sounds like. Yeah, it sounds like Naby Keita's his PT or something, mate. Yeah, that's damn on that injury record, like, and it's the last thing we need, to be honest, is to sign another midfielder who's injured all the time. As much as I love Thiago, he picks up too many knocks. Even our whole midfield's injury prone, to be honest, mate. Even Curtis Jones had a bad look of a bad run with injuries. So yeah, that's a bit of a risk. It's a bit like Arnov said, if you can get him cheap, it's not too bad a risk because he is young and you probably get the money back 1 or 2 years down the line if it doesn't work out and you need to sell him. But Arnov is right. Last thing we need to do is probably sign another midfielder who's going to be injured all season. So it might be worth looking at other players, maybe Benassa or something like that.
Jen, single-handedly funding the channel. Everything that we do get does go straight back into it. You're an absolute hero. Thank you so much for your super sticker. It does not go underappreciated if that's the word I'm looking for. But you're an absolute hero, Jen. You've supported us from the start and continue to support us. So thank you very much from all of us here for that. Chris Stonage is in the chat, the boys. Chris, what have you done to your hair, by the way? I've seen this on Twitter and I'm dead confused. What made your diet bleach blonde? Like, I really am confused. Because you and Paddy both done it. Has Craig put his up to it? Because I'm baffled. Super though. But Kev, Laimer, with his injury record, does that change your mind? I mean, I know when we have seen and you've been impressed, like most of us have, does that change your mind wanting him?
Well, to be honest, someone mentioned that, I think it's Kempachi has mentioned it. I wouldn't mind going for Sangari myself as an alternative at PSV. Laimer, do you know what? He fits right in with his injury record, and he would be right at home at the Royal or wherever they go for the name and go. It would be great for the kids to see him and Keita doing the duo act. It would be great. However, taking that aside, I don't know. It is a concern and it is a worry. And if we are going to get someone like him in, then you need assurances that those injuries are actually over with, or at least are coming to an end, or he's at least getting on his way back to fit. There's no point bringing someone in who's just going to spend most of his time on the medical treatment in the medical treatment room. So I would be looking at other alternatives, but I don't know what the alternative would be or how much we would spend, because people will start having heart attacks that's taken away from a certain fund for a certain player from Germany. So and use that as a plan D if needed be, if we can't get anyone else in of a better stature.
What about you, Arnov? If he was to come in, I've just seen a comment and he's saying wait and get him for free in the summer. That probably makes a bit more sense given his injury records, because then if he is injury prone, he's just coming in more as a squad option, isn't he?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think if we had the choice, but to be honest, I don't even think we have a choice. Like, our midfield's just been run ragged for the last few years, and the lack of investment is just telling. But I think at this point we've got not much option unless we sign someone, a big Jude and Jan, but that's never going to happen, or even Declan Rice. But I just think we need a midfielder, and beggars can't be choosers. Like, if we can get him done for about 10-15 mil, it'd be all right. But even then, I still think his injury record is actually horrific. Like, it's so bad. Like, he's played 2 seasons like at the top. Top in the Bundesliga, and the other 2 have been injuries after injuries. And even now, like you're saying, Matty, like he'd miss more games if it wasn't for the World Cup. So it's I really don't know. I'm not as excited by Konrad Laimer as others, but I think it'd be a solid option if he can stay fit.
Yeah, definitely. Adam, you're right. It probably would be a Liverpool thing to sign someone like that. We're going to move on to the next player, though. Now, I sense this has came out just purely because Liverpool played them on Tuesday, and he was absolutely unbelievable. But the Evening Standard have been reporting that Napoli's take it away, Arnov. What's his name?
I think it's Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia.
I am not trying to pronounce that. I'll call him number 77, as Jay told me before we go on stream. But apparently he's attracting interest from Liverpool and Chelsea, and he could cost the Premier League clubs as much as 86 million. I'm very, very impressed by him. Massively impressed by him, to be honest with you. He's a bit like when Darwin came last year to Anfield, and he just stole the show for the whole season of any club that visited Liverpool. All the fans wanted him, but 86 million, Jay, sort of does me head in a little bit because they got him for about 7 million last summer.
Yeah, I've seen that, mate. That's the way it is, though. If you're performing on the big stage and you're hitting numbers the way he is, clubs can ask for stupid money now, lads. And I suppose it's only fair if they found him for 9 mil. They found him, no one else did. So it's on you to pay the fee if you want him. The only thing I'd say about 77 is that position's probably the position we need to improve least. We've got Diaz there, we've got Jota there. Curtis Jones played there last night, and I thought he's done all right. Albeit with a couple more games, he could make that position a lot better for himself and get in the team a bit more. So, as much as I like this lad, because I have watched him in Serie A a few times this year, and he is a brilliant player, to be honest, mate. He really is good. But I just feel like we're in much need of midfielders rather than a left winger. And even if we were going to sign someone from the front line, I think the left wing is the last place. I'd rather get someone right wing than left wing. So I think it'd be a bit tough to spend 80 million on him when we're crying for midfielders.
Yeah, what about you, Kev? Because there was a comment up here which ties nicely with what Jay's saying about Jota and Diaz. About Jota potentially being injury prone, which, to be fair with Kvicha, probably would agree with, given his record since he's came to Liverpool with his injuries, but so is every Liverpool player. Would you look to get, I'm going to call him Carver, would you look to get Carver in? Well, Lewis, he has, to be fair, when he comes back, is one of the most exciting players in world football in that position. So would you want him for that much money?
For that amount of money, he'll need to be starting, and I don't think he starts for us. I think the way our position and the way we play, I think it'll be more of a Diaz over number 77. Myself personally, in certain games, I'm excited by him. I'm amazed at how well he has done at Napoli, and in particular how well Napoli have played this season. I think they've been absolutely outstanding for the Italian league, and it's an actual delight to watch them play, to be honest. And it's probably one of the reasons why I try and watch them when they're on, because they're so entertaining. He would add a hell of a lot to us. It would be great if we were a Man City, because it's right up their street. You just buy someone like that, put him on the bench for a bit. I wish we could do that, and what a player to get. I don't think he comes to us. I think if he goes to anyone, it'll be Chelsea.
What about you, Arnov? Do you think we've got a chance at getting him? Looking at his transfers, he got him straight from a Georgian club who had paid 7.2 million a year before to get him. So the fact he only got him for 9's a steal, really, considering how good he is.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think Jay and Kev hit the nail on the head. Like Jay saying, we've got so much depth in that position, and Kev saying he's been really exciting and everything like that. And but I can't really say 86 million pound. There's no way. Like, we need to get the midfield sorted first, and then we can look to expand on that. But then, yeah, Matty, like you're just saying, then they only got him from Dynamo Batumi because he was at Rubin Kazan before that. Yeah, because but then like I seen him play when I was over in St. Petersburg against Zenit, and the only reason he left was because the war started. So that was why. And then Dynamo Batumi got him, and then he went over. But 86 million. I mean, he's done really well at the start of the season and everything like that. But it has only been like a few games. Obviously, that sounds a bit like harsh on him and stubborn. But I think give him a season, see what Napoli do. They always have a good start to the season and then end up like filtering away afterwards. So but yeah, no, I think we need to strengthen the midfield and do it in areas by areas. And then it's just let's strengthen the midfield first. I think it's so crucial. We need to do that. So let's get Big Jude first.
Just speak about that in a minute. But just have a quick look at Carver, Jay, and he can play right wing and second striker as well. So if Diaz was playing and you had Salah and Nunes up front in a 4-2-3-1 formation, then you could have like Nunes or Salah behind one another and then play him on the right wing. But would that worry you about affecting the likes of Carvalho and Elliott's development, or would you rather go and bring someone like this in who's ready-made, still very young, and is ready now?
Look, if FSG are happy to put the money up for him and pay 86 million, I'm not going to say no. He's a quality player from what I've seen of him, but Arnov's right, we've only seen 10, 15 games of him this season in Italy. Italy isn't the hardest league to play in truth. So don't get me wrong, he is doing it in the Champions League as well, to be fair to him. So he does look the real part. I'm happy for FSG to spend whatever million they want on him, but like I said, mate, my priorities in midfielder. I'd much rather us be throwing 80 million at Barella, or obviously he's going to get mentioned again, Bellingham, or just another midfielder, mate. Like I say, 77, his position isn't a priority up front, isn't it? Like, we're struggling to get Nunes in the team, so getting another striker in, well, winger forward. No, like I say, mate, if we sign him and midfielders, great, crack on, I'd love it. But I know we're not going to do that, so I'd rather that money go on a midfielder.
Kev Adam reckons that Carver starts over Luis Diaz. Is that a bold claim or not?
It is when you've just heard what Arnov and Jay have said, and the fact that we've only seen 15 games and we've seen a glimpse of what he can do. You've seen Diaz, and he's done it more over a longer period, 2 seasons at least, and he excites you every time he plays. Don't get me wrong, there'll be games where he starts over Diaz because of the way he plays and his ability to just run a plays and take them on. Entertain and there'll be certain games where he does that, but for me, it doesn't start over Diaz. He has to do it longer. He has to show a bit of consistency. And if we're perfectly honest, he didn't get the beating of Trent, who's meant to be the worst defender in world football at the minute. So, I still believe Trent is still trying to hand Napoli back out of his pocket, I think, because the way he played against him. It's, it's all very good. Again, I agree with what you said at the start, Matty. I think it's just because he's played against us and everyone sees it as an interview to when they come on Anfield and play against us. Anyone who plays well or is known to be well, we're automatically linked 2-3 days later. But I don't think he starts for me. Does he start for you over Diaz?
I think Luis Diaz is one of the most talented left wingers in the world, to be honest.
Similar. Yeah, there's no way.
Does he start over Diaz for you? I mean,
no way. No.
He's a baller. He had Trent on skates apparently, even though he didn't score. So, what do you think on that?
Nah, I don't think he starts over. I don't think he starts over Diaz. Like, yeah, he's had good. He's played well. I don't get me wrong. He's a good player, but like 86 million already. Oh, come on, like he's been there for what, a couple months now, a few months. Nah, if he's worth that, then Diaz is worth at least 100 mil, and that's pushing it a lot. So, nah, I think it's just short term from these reporters and stuff. I can't see 100 mil unless if Napoli go on to win the league. Maybe then they might be justified, but I don't even see him doing that. And if they can do that, then fair enough. But yeah, now I don't think we need him. We just need Jude and another midfielder, Konrad, Laimer, if that's him, or like Benacer, like Jay said. I don't know. As long as we get another midfielder, then I'm happy.
Speaking of Jude, I'm fed up of speaking about this lad on the stream, to be honest with you, because I just can't see it happening. However, Sport Build, who are very, very reliable, and Jan. For
top.
Yeah, that's as Liverpool owners are going all in on Bellingham. They've made 100 million euros available for the transfer, which I don't think even buys Jude's left foot at the minute. To be fair, 100 million euros is what, about 19 mil. Do you reckon you can get Jude Bellingham for that?
No. Do you know what it is, mate? At the beginning of the season, you might have got him for 100 mil, but the fact he scored in that many Champions League games on the run, he's adding goals to this game now. So not only is he influencing the game in a leadership way and just being a driving force in midfield, he's adding numbers now as well. It's not trying to drive your price up by silly amounts, mate. Then you've got the World Cup in 2 weeks. The 2 games he played for England before recently in September, when they played Italy and Germany. He was the best player for England in both games, probably. So that it looked like he's going to have a strong World Cup. Mate, he could cost 150 plus, and I just don't see Liverpool going anywhere near that, to be honest. Even if Bellingham wants Liverpool, I don't think the owners will want him enough for that money, which is stupid because 3, 4, 5 years down the line, and if he wants to go to Real Madrid or whatever, he's still going to be a young man. You'll make that money back. The shirt sales, the success that you should get from signing him anyway, winning trophies and whatnot, that money's made back. But FSG don't look at things that way, mate. So I love it, but I'm not putting any hope on it whatsoever.
What about you, Kev? Do you reckon this is Liverpool actually interested, or do you reckon it's more of a right? We've put 100 million euros on the table towards, and then he's went for say he goes for 150. Oh well, we tried because we've seen that before.
We have. We've also seen all the trivia questions that come out over Bellingham over the last couple of months. That's going to continue. Where flavour of the month at the minute? Is that going to change to Chelsea? Is that going to change to Real Madrid before the decision's being made? Is he going to do a Harry Kewell video to announce where he's going once he's decided where he wants to go? You know, it's all up in the air at the minute. Who's to say? And God forbid if it happens, what happens if he gets injured in January in the World Cup? Then what happens? Then what do we do? Are we still going to throw 100 million on a player who's potentially injured and could be out? Do we try and get a deal done then? Is that more of a way of us getting a chance of bringing him in? There's just too much to it at the minute, and I think it's too early for anyone to start saying where he wants to go. I would love him. We would all love him. We've spoken enough about him highly on this channel, not just me, but all you guys and everyone else. We all want him. We all want him. We should be all in. I hope we are all in. However much that will be, numbers are going to get banded around, and they're going to go up even more so during the World Cup. If he scores, assists, as a decent game, that's adding another 5 million. I think everyone's feared every Champions League game because of the amount of goals he scored this season. I'm just thinking, lad, can you just stop it? Because you're knocking us out of the transfer market here, lad. Just knock it in, will you? You know what I mean? But this is what we're at the minute. You know, we're in this, like, there's nothing going on. It's in between. We're in that grey area between the end of the season, the start of the World Cup. What can we do? We'll just push the Bellingham idea out there and let's throw Liverpool's name at it and see what kind of reaction we get. And here's what happens. This is the fruits of the labour. It's lazy journalism for me. Whether it's true or not, I hope we are all in. But as we said last night, if anyone didn't watch, please watch. But if last night we said, you know, there's got to be a plan. It's got to be a plan B. There's got to be a plan B to this. I don't mind us being all in and we lose him, as long as there's an alternative on the side that we automatically go for and get. So if he ends up at Real Madrid or City or Chelsea, we've automatically the next day we've gone out and we've gone and bought X, Y, and Z instead as an alternative. That's what I would like us to. That'll be less frustrating than seeing us go through weeks and months of trying to get another alternative to Bellingham. I don't know if anyone agrees with that, but that's just me.
What do you think, Arnov? Because with Tchouaméni, it seemed like it was Tchouaméni or nothing, and now we've went into the season starting 37. To be fair to James Milner, right, he's actually had more good performances than bad this season, so I'm not discounting him. But is it if it's Bellingham or not, and does that concern you? Do you think Liverpool do have a backup plan for Jude Bellingham, or do you think it literally is Bellingham or nothing?
I think it's more Bellingham or nothing than it was Tchouaméni or nothing, to be fair. We've spoke about Bellingham for so long. Even last season, like towards the end of last season, we were speaking about him. But I also think exactly what Kev just said then. It's actually sad that to see him do well because he's just raising his price so much. And especially when we're losing to Forest and Leeds and the season is not going well for us, it's just going to put a bitter taste in his mouth even to want to come. And that's why in the summer it was the best time to get him, because we come back from a brilliant season. We'd done really well in all 4 cups, won 2 cups, and then got to a final Champions League and came second in the Premier League. I think if we'd have snapped him up then, it would have been a perfect signing. But then for waiting a year, and it's just like delaying it, and the season we've had so far, the FSG would just have to bite their tongues if we don't get him and he goes to Real, because they're having a good season as well. They're first in the league, and they should get a decent draw in the Champions League. And like, if Real Madrid come calling, and they've just got rid of their midfield trio of Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric coming to an end. They could have Camavinga, Tchouaméni, and Bellingham, like they've had these three for the last 10 years. They can make another midfield maestro for the next decade. And if you were at Bellingham, you'd be thinking, why not try and become a Galactico potentially when we see us ninth in the league and not doing that well? Like, obviously form is temporary, but I don't know. I think we've just got to have another draw and another marquee signing, like potentially like an Mbappe, like they were saying in January, he wants to leave and stuff like that. But obviously that's not going to happen. But yeah, it's just I think we're playing a risky game, we're putting all eggs in basket for Jude, but it's just it's one of them that we're going to have to see what the owners do and if they can pull a rabbit out of the hat. But at the moment, the better he plays and the worse we keep playing, hopefully we get a good result on Sunday. But yeah, it's going to be tense. It's going to be really tense if Real Madrid won him.
Jen, I hope to God we get Jude Bellingham for you, because you have been crying for him for nearly 18 months. So I hope we do, and he doesn't go somewhere else.
His super stickers are getting up to the price tag of Jude Bellingham, aren't they?
But like Haley says, Jay, there wasn't a plan B with Tchouaméni. We experienced it when Lovren was sold, had a bad season off the back of it. Same this year. Not selling a player, so to speak, but not getting Tchouaméni. You've had a bad season. But with Adam's just said a name there, Valverde, and he also said, do you reckon FSG signing Barella or Concedo rather than just a Jude? So I'm going to put it to all three of you first. If Bellingham went to Real Madrid, I think Valverde's reasonable, because why would he stick around as a centre mid when he's got them three world-class players ahead of him, to be fair? So that could come into play. But would you rather sign Jude Bellingham and that's all we get? Or would you rather go and get like Barella and Concedo or Valverde and someone instead, Jay?
For me, mate, Valverde's honestly one of the top three midfielders in the world right now. So there's absolutely no way on earth you're getting him out of Real Madrid. Valverde right now has got more stuff than Bellingham, and people might not agree. But if you've watched Valverde this season, mate, he's different level. Honestly, he's just doing everything. He's scoring like 40, 30 yards every game. His assists, his legs, mate, he's got everything, mate, for me. Right now, he's the best midfielder in the world. I like today, in my opinion. In answer to Bellingham, or I'd rather have Barella and another player than just Bellingham. We need more than just Bellingham. If we sign Bellingham and Bellingham gets injured, then we've got the same squad we have. We need at least two midfielders, mate. So if you gave me the option of like Barella and Benassa or Barella Sangar, Barella Kone, I'd take the two over Bellingham every day. Not because I don't love Bellingham, but him on his own isn't enough, in my opinion. I think we need at least two midfielders minimum.
What about you, Kev? Do you think that it makes more sense, as much as everyone wants Jude Bellingham, and if you get Jude Bellingham, you're getting a midfielder for 10 years? Or do you think that, like what Jay is saying, to have two midfielders coming in January as opposed to one will fix all the problems more, as good as Jude Bellingham is? I
totally 100 million % agree with Jake. There's no. I think FSG, if they get Bellingham, will sit back and go, there you go. We've just delivered the places. That's it, and that's all that's coming in. And we need a hell of a lot more. And as I said yesterday as well, it's not the only area that's going to be a concern. We're going to have a concern when Van Dijk, Robertson, Alisson, Mo. You've got Bobby as well. There's a lot of, because of the lack of recruitment and a lack of investment, we need more. So I would sooner have 3 or 4 alternatives than having Bellingham in on his own, for me.
Well, you are you in agreement that as good as Jude is, would you rather bring in a few more players instead of just Jude?
Yeah, no, I think we do need a couple. I think that's where the Laimer interest comes from, along with Jude. But I think, I'd take Barella and someone else. And I think that Caicedo at Brighton. But I've heard rumours that Brighton will want extortionate amounts for him, plus upwards of 60 million and stuff like that. Yeah. Insane. So the way the market's going, I think we probably will get Laimer and then probably get Bellingham as well in the summer. But that's if Bellingham even wants to come even now. Like Barella would be amazing as well. And Ben, I say that would be brilliant. As Jay's saying, and yeah, no, I agree with that comment as well about Jay.
Salah.
Yeah, for you, genuinely for you, what would you rather us get Jude and not anybody else? Bearing in mind, like what Kris is saying, that we lose 2 on a free next summer straight away in Kvicha and Ox and Milner. So there's 3.
Wow.
Would you throw all your eggs into Jude basket? We are going to move on, but I want to know what you think about that, Jen, to be honest, because you really love Jude like we all do. But if you got Jude and we got no one else, how would you feel? And moving on to the last one, quite an interesting one that's come out the past few days, actually. And I'm all for it. I know it's caused a lot of controversy within group chats. It's caused a lot of controversy on Twitter and stuff like that. But Simon Phillips has come out and said Liverpool are actually pushing really hard to sign Declan Rice in the summer. And we've already started the groundwork. Now, for me, I'd take him every single day. I think he's fantastic. He's probably, at the minute, as good as Fabinho is. He's probably best than Fabinho on current form. I know, but he's English. He's going to cost a bomb. But start with you, Jay. Declan Rice, would you take him as one of our midfielders?
Not for the money, mate, no. I'm going to be dead honest, no. He's going to cost, I think they quoted Chelsea at 100 or 120 million last season. They're going to want only more for him now. He's not a £120 million player, mate. I don't care what anyone says. I like him. And if we could get him for a normal fee, like 40, 50 million, I'd say go for it, because he's a Klopp player in terms of engine. Klopp isn't asked if you can do left-right turns and be nice on the ball. He wants you to run and put the hard yards in, that's Declan Rice to the T. But when you're talking 100 million, mate, he's just not 100 million for me. I think when there's players like Sangara, Vanessa, other options, I think you could get 2 or 3 midfielders for the price you could get Declan Rice. Very good player. I just think that the money involves ridiculous, mate. And I think if we signed Declan Rice, that'd be it. No one else. And that's not good enough for me.
West Ham actually having quite a poor season, Kev. So if they fail to get Europe, depending on his World Cup, you maybe could get him a little bit cheaper. I don't know how much cheaper, but if you can get Rice for say 60, 70 million, he is a good Fabinho replacement, isn't he?
Do you know what? I would have said no about 2-3 weeks ago until he played against us midweek, and I thought he had an outstanding game for West Ham, even though they got beat. I thought he was one of their best players. I just think I think with Declan Rice, there's too much around him. There's a London tax, there's an England tax. There's just too much tax involved just to bring a decent player who there's better alternatives for me. It's sad in a way that I'm saying that, because he is English, and I think we do need a few more English players in our team, to be honest, and that. But I don't know. He's even for 60 or 70, Matt. I do think that's a bit too steep for me. I think, and I agree with what Jake says. If you bring him in, there's no one else coming in. Unfortunately, it's a bit like the Bellingham situation. And if we sign him in January, then does that then take away from the fund that's for the German player that we're all rooting to get? It's just there's too many things around it, and for me, I think the money's just ridiculous. Unless he's down on his last year of his contract, I'd then be going in. But even then, you're still looking 40, 50 mil for him, which I think is probably his way. But there's many out there, probably like yourself, Matty, you think he's bringing him in for that money is a snip. For me, I think there's better alternatives out there, as what Jay have said.
What about you, Arnov? Does Declan Rice, is he a player who, if we brought him in, you'd be excited by it? Or do you agree with Jay and Kev that there's better options out there for cheaper?
Yeah, I would be excited by Rice. I think he's a proper player. Brilliant, fits the mold perfectly. Leadership, he's got everything to his game. But yeah, I think he's a Chelsea. He looks like a Chelsea player. Even everything about him, just coming from their academy, go in there, and then there's just and Chelsea players always do that. They always seem to do that. If they leave, they always go back there. So yeah, I think he would do that. But yeah, I think if we're gonna get Rice, it definitely FSG would. they'd treat it like the Bellingham. We're not going to get no one else. So if only, like we've been saying, like Les been saying, if we can get him for about 60 mil and then we can get another player for about 40, 30, 50, 60 again, then potentially, but there's no way Rice is going for anything below 80, I don't think. Anything below 80, I don't think West Ham are getting rid of him, especially after last season rejecting Chelsea for stupendous amounts of money. There's no way. I can't see it happening.
Before we go, I'm going to ask everyone for the perfect transfers in January, but I just want to pull this comment up from Remy Safara saying the lack of investment nonsense and that it's not.
I've seen that, yeah.
I refuse to believe you're a Liverpool fan, Remy, because if you think the investment within this side's being great, then how on earth are we starting James Milner and Jordan Henderson in this midfield in 2022? But
got the same team as 4 years ago, man.
But before we do go, Jay, Kev, Arnov, I'm going to ask you all the same question. Go round. I'll start with you, Jay. In January, it does look like we're going to bring players in. Say, for example, we do have 100 million. Jude Bellingham's probably not realistic this January. If anything, it'll probably be the summer. Who would you bring in January?
It depends on availability, mate. If he was available, I'd go all in for Barella. You know in the chat, I talk about him every week. I look like a weirdo, to be honest, like I'm hardening his bins outside or something, but he's just got everything, mate. He's a top player. I think a player like that in January is probably unrealistic. If it is realistic, then I'll put all in for Barella. If not, Rigo's mentioned Benacer a few times from Milan. I think he'd suit our system really well. Full of legs, he's never injured. So he's a bit like Wijnaldum, but a better footballer than Wijnaldum. And I like Wijnaldum anyway. So if I had the choice of anyone, Barella, more realistic, probably Benacer.
Yeah. Adam, he really was devastated. It's a sore subject for Jay. What about you, Kev? Who would you bring in?
I would bring in. I'd be looking at trying to bring Caicedo in and Ruben Neves for me. I think if you get new Ruben Neves, I think you're bringing in two players who can come in straight away and can do a job for you, and that's what we need. We don't need these. Let's bring in a player in from abroad. I'm not saying we shouldn't, but in a different league, it's a toss up whether they hit the ground running or they don't. So they're the two I would like. My fantasy one would be Enzo from Benfica, but I don't think that will ever happen. Especially the way Benfica have been playing this season and how they've got themselves through to the next round of the Champions League. So, but no, that's who I'd be bringing in.
Focus you on. I'm going to bring Remy up again because apparently more knowledge of Liverpool than me, and I like it. The difference between us is many like you make false comparisons of Liverpool to other clubs. No, mate, the difference between me and you is I want to see my club continue to compete. And to continue to compete, you need to invest. You can't have the same squad every single year. Going add fresh. Pep Guardiola, who everyone creams about, has actually said making changes, whether it's to the playing staff or the backroom staff, keeps it fresh. Competition replaces, allows you to progress. Also, I've got UEFA badges. And they tell you that in your UEFA B licenses as well. So have some of that. Oh, no, who would you bring in?
I reckon, you shut him down then. No, I think, you know what? I don't think Tielemans has been mentioned enough, I wouldn't mind a little bit of Tielemans. I think it'd be about 15, 20 mil, something cheap. And the way Leicester are playing as well, I reckon we could get him even cheaper than that. But then Laimer, if we can get him. And I saw on an article today, someone was saying from the Express that we should get Joe Linton instead of Rice to play in midfield, which was quite interesting. But I think Tielemans and Laimer, if we got them two, and then also a Bellingham in the summer or a Rice, if that was to happen, I think would be okay. But I'd take Tielemans or Laimer. I just think we need two options in the midfield in January. In January and try and get some money, try and get some dough for Keita and Ox if they leave on a free. I'd rather them just get 5-10 mil, give that to the bank, and
Make a very good point there, Arnov, because Youri Tielemans is free in the summer, so you can probably get him in January for like 10
mil. Yeah.
Getting someone like Youri Tielemans for 10 million improves this Liverpool side massively. massively improves the Liverpool side. They could be in agreement in that. But yeah, we'll leave it there because Arnov needs to skedaddle. It's been about 40 minutes, so we'll leave it there.
Cool.
That's been Transfer Central. I've been Matty, and I appreciate Jay, Kev.
I don't know what happened there. It's like off.
No, I don't think so. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's been Transfer Central. It's been me, Kev, and Arnov, and Jay. And a nice one so far in the comments. Been loads of comments today. Everyone's been getting involved. Really like them type of streams. It makes our lives much easier when you're giving us things to talk about. We will be back tomorrow. Jen, I agree with equality. We're back tomorrow. Back every single day. We're back for the watch along on Saturday. Not sure who's doing it because Louis taking a break. Seen a few comments asking if Louis gone. He hasn't gone. He's just taking a break. He'll be back soon. But yeah, do leave a like and subscribe on the video. All your support means a lot. We've been LFC Transfer Room, and thank you for listening.